my point of view back in last 10 years, I was thinking like, why there's always like a movie about genocide? Why is it so important that every upcoming filmmaker wants to make a film about that? Why can't we talk about something else? And then I realized one day that if we still remember every year, it's because it has become like part of our lives. You know, it still feels so fresh. People has been asking me for past, like, every time I travel, where do you from? I'm from Rwanda. Oh, so they will say Paul Kagame and they will say genocide. It's like Hotel Rwanda, right? You know, it's like, yeah, thank you. It's like an identity. Everybody has watched Hotel Rwanda, you know? But there's so many other beautiful narratives within artists here. But these people doesn't know how to put them out. I don't have myself, I'm still struggling, you know, to know where am I going to put my film after the post-production. So many films were produced, I guess, from 1995. I am not sure. Shooting Dogs, you know, sometimes in April, there were a lot of films, you know, without mentioning the documentaries. Like international community was really, I mean, international filmmakers were really interested into the Rwandan story itself, and it had to be told. As the country grows, there's more layers to the way the people used to tell the story about the genocide, because it's a difficult and very complex subject that I feel like we're learning about it every day. It has, you know, so many other layers are being discovered. And that time, it was mostly like everybody wanted to make a film that is more a contribution to the unity and reconciliation. International filmmakers who has made films here, they have a way of seeing things that is probably based on the research. But I feel like the way we tell our stories is different because there's more emotional and feelings attached to this kind of way of telling this story, that as a Rwandan, you know better than anybody else that comes outside of this country. And I feel like it's gonna always be like that. I would enjoy a great story that talks about probably the futurism of this country, you know, putting together a myth and imagination from what we have or from what we got to know, you know, from other people, from other culture, something that it's, you know, showing Rwanda in a different perspective. For example, I love animation, by the way, because in animation world, I feel like, for example, Miyazaki is creating a world that has never been. You still feel like this is a Japanese artist, this is a Japanese filmmaker, but who is just showing a different perspective of what a film can be, you know? I need to see something unusual. I need to see something that is really spectacular. I need to see something that has never been told. It could be like in terms of imagery with a simple story that has been exist, but you know, just something that is crafted in a way that we need to see that it exists. We need to see like science fiction films, we don't have them. Animations, as I mentioned before, we don't have. Silent film, we don't have. You know, borrowed history of our culture that is full of very interesting stories about women, about cows, about our beliefs before the colonial time. The more we tell our stories, all these kind of stories that I described, the more we want to see It's something that we want to see every day. Then we start loving our own culture, and then we spread it. Our stories are very, very rich. If everybody who wants to make a film can easily access to a local fund, that would be much, 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 much better. And it will be much helpful, and it's gonna grow. But I need also to feel like there's a place that Cynthia can go tomorrow and pitch this, and then she's going to be guaranteed for 50,000 or 100K to be able to make her own project here. And that project afterwards needs to be shown in the stadium because of particular event that's happened that's related to that. And that way we're going to reduce the amount of the international films that we're watching. We're going to improve the quality of what we're doing to be able to come on the same level, or you would call it a competition on international. I'm going to talk about myself. If I want to make a film about genocide, it's because I've lived it. I've seen the impact. I don't necessarily need to go back and make a film about reconciliation, but I would go back and make a film about how I feel. What is those emotions that I've been carrying over the past 30 years? How do I feel about it? Movies that I've watched about the genocide against Tutsi that are local made, and I had a chance to discuss with the writers, it always goes back to the personal story. They are still very original and sincere. Making that film is like looking yourself into a mirror and just let it come out and let it go.